I'm Dr. Javed Butler. I'm a cardiologist and clinical trialist with Baylor Scott and White Health in Dallas, Texas. I'm president of the Baylor Scott and White Research Institute and distinguished professor of medicine at University of Mississippi in Jackson, Mississippi. My motivation to get involved with the CardioHealth Alliance lies in the fact that we have really sort of, done very well in evidence generation part of our entire spectrum of how we develop new therapies for patients. So clinical trials, the science of clinical trials, where we are not is actually real world evidence generation and implementation science. So, a lot of the time, these therapies are developed, and it takes us over a decade to implement the therapies in clinical practice. And that cycle length has to shorten. And on top of that, the fact is that the vast majority of Americans get care outside of large academic medical centers and healthcare systems all across US. And involving the healthcare systems beyond the traditional academic medical centers, both in evidence generation, quality improvement, and evidence implementation is critically important to really fulfill the sacrifices that our patients and their family members gave to participate in the clinical trials to generate the evidence in the first place. So these are sort of the reasons why I was really motivated to join and work with the CardioHealth Alliance is the translation of evidence in real world practice and generating new evidence from the vast majority of practice sites all across US. The Cardio Health Alliance basically has sort of four goals if you're thinking at a high level of sort of various different domains. First is to leverage real world data. We have millions of interactions with patients and healthcare system all across US, but we are not sort of looking at that real world data. Clinical trials are great, but what's happening in the real world and how to leverage the real world data to inform the real world care. The second aim is that implementation is sort of a whole science in itself, right? So you have to give drug X and the device Y, whatever it is, it has the potential benefits and potential risks, and all that is great. That's what we learned in clinical trial. But how do you actually implement that? We are in the best of times right now to improve quality of care because of the digitization of medical records, right? So on one hand, yes, documentation is some burden on healthcare providers. On the other hand, it gives unprecedented opportunity to be able to track the data on a long-term basis and develop pathways within the hospital system, within practices, and learn from those on an iterative basis. The third is optimization and scaling, right? So what you learn in healthcare system A, in a region A, in Northeast or Northeast of US or South or West or whatever. I mean, there may be differences. There may be differences in practices that take care of a particular demographic of population. So learn at a more focused level, but then scale it to larger and larger areas and how to best do that, how to take the lessons from one place and take it to the other place and scale and optimize for that particular setting. There is science, but then there is policy, right? So we need to impact the policymakers that can make all of this work easy, whether it is related to availability of the drugs, whether it is related to regulations that can help promote some of these processes. All of those things will require some policy action as well. So that is sort of the fourth lens through which we are looking at all of these actions within the Cardio Health Alliance. That is to continuously address sort of the value proposition of care through active, appropriate, and effective policymaking.